Alrighty, everybody. This is our pseudo semifinals. There may be 2 games after this. There may only be 1. The reason I say that is there's currently 3 matches being played where all 6 players have not lost a game. A opts for the Marksman Specialist with Fang Sledgehammer. That's a mean starting hand. This is going to be very difficult for our blue player to beat. However, they do come into this with quite a good hand against it. These Stormcallers are going to make a huge difference. Stormcallers work extremely well against any land-based units that is slow. And unfortunately for A, all of his units are creepy crawlies. They're going to take a long time to get across the field. And I think that our blue player has made a very wise decision here by opting to grab a couple of Fang and keep them very well protected, both by the Stormcallers and by the Arclights. What I mean by that is that all of these units are supporting each other with their range of fire. The Fang will be here to absorb tank shots, they'll be here to absorb sniper shots, and allow the Arclights and Stormcallers to deal the damage that they need to do. All the armor-piercing damage right now, all of the high... there is no armor in this game yet, but all of the high damage is coming out of these Stormcallers, so they need to be protected. Not only that, they have the longest reach out of anything on the field here, and I think A has realized that. That's why they've opted to grab a couple of crawlers. These crawlers are going to be incredibly important if they do come out. No, crawlers were unlocked, but only 1 unit comes out and an extra sniper. Interesting choice. This sniper might be here to try and plink away at Arclights, but these Arclights are pretty well defended by their Fang brothers. Oh my gosh, this one little Stormcaller is going to be able to chew through all of these Fang. Not that the Fang were going to do much anyways, but those poor guys. So if there's mass Stormcallers, I prefer not to play my Fang in this kind of line formation, just because the Stormcaller shots tend to land and just kill off all of them in 1 or 2 volleys. As we saw there, these tanks are unfortunately grouped up. Oh man, those Stormcaller shots are important. But 2 crawlers do survive on this left-hand side, so these Stormcallers are doomed to death. Even without the support of the tanks and snipers. Let's see if they can get enough shots off. I don't think so. Very well played here by our red player A. A did a significant job. How did A do? Mini tournament advanced runner-up. Good job. Good job indeed. Let's see what both players opt for here. Ooh, man, that shield drop coming out so early is great. Means you'll probably get 2 or 3 uses out of it, and that shield is actually slightly better than the other shields that you see within the game. Normally your shields only give you 40,000 HP. This one just slightly better, and it's free after you purchase it the first time. It's a cheaper shield that comes out more often, or comes out often for free, and has more HP. I really like this card. Both players taking a moment to think about it. Honestly, the extended range on Phoenix could be good for either player as well if we do see an aerial transition. Want to see what was deployed there. A did grab a couple more snipers. Okay. Not a bad choice. Looks like both players opted for the shield. I think both players think the game will go on for quite a while. Shield drop here on the right. Again, we have seen this in the previous battles of the tournament. The tanks and Fang take a long time to get through shields. Luckily, there's a couple of snipers here. And that's why we see the shield being deployed on this side, because this level 3 sniper will plink away at those shields quite quickly, given the amount of damage it does. So the extra 50,000 HP shield will go on the right, because there isn't really a lot of snipers to deal with that. I think our blue player has made a wise decision as well, playing out a few more crawlers, just to help try and win this chaff war. The more Stormcaller shots that are able to come out, the better. Right now, the Stormcallers are the highest damaging, longest ranged units on the field, besides the Sniper. The Sniper doesn't have quite as much range, but it deals significantly more damage. We'll see how this goes. I don't know, though. The shield is already up. Of course, it gets deployed out there very quickly. These tanks are in a really bad position on the left. They're all kind of squatting together. Tanks on the right are also squatting together, and now some of the crawlers are getting in. Oh, no. That's not what you want your snipers to be shooting at. Down goes one sniper. The second sniper on the right will drop here in a second. Oh, and the left is also being crippled. That extra chaff really making a difference. Well played here by our blue player, understanding that there's just going to be too many snipers to go into heavy or medium-sized units. So hey, grab some more chaff. A takes a small amount of damage. Strangely enough, the shield didn't take a single point of damage. It will survive. Your deployables last throughout the entirety of the game if they're not destroyed or activated in the case of the missile. Intelligent Arc Lights coming out here for A. Interesting. Okay, we could see some serious Arc Light play. He's going to try and deploy as many units as possible. What did... Oh, Intelligent Arc Lights for both players. Okay. That's not a bad play at all. And interestingly, A held on to their shield just to see where the shield would be most useful. Granted, these Stormcallers will chew through the shields, not extremely quickly, but they will chew through shields quite a bit more quickly than anything that A currently has on the field. Intelligent Arc Lights with range. This should help our blue player just clear away all of the chaff in a much quicker way. Let's see if our red player can deal with that. It doesn't look like it. I have to give this over to the blue player once again as my prediction. Of course, we don't make predictions on the games because I don't want to discourage anybody. But I think this will go very well here, and I like this attack damage increase as well. It just means that the units will be slightly better. Man, those Fang positions were incredibly good. Able to protect the Stormcallers without any splash damage going off. The Arc Lights are already working down on the chaff units. Wow, go little Arc Lights go. Man, are they clearing things away quickly. Even able to kill enemy Arc Lights. Wow. Unfortunately, the left, without the support of those Fang, is going to fall very quickly. But there are enough crawlers to get in here and start dealing with this level 3 sniper. Wow, will the Arc Light save the Stormcaller? It saved one. Good job, little Arc Light. Man, this range is making a huge difference. And you know what's important? The elite marksman and the extra damage can quickly turn these Arc Lights into the centerpiece of your army. A takes a little bit more damage, being at roughly half the HP of our blue player. This is not great. This is not great at all. Intelligent marksman coming out here for A. That makes sense. He's going to need to rely on these marksmen quite a bit if the Arc Lights get out of hand. Oh, what's it going to be for... So the skill specialist is quite nice because it does speed up the shield drop quite a bit. All of a sudden you can start deploying these shields quite often, and it turns other skills into something that become much more viable. Things like the Lightning Storm, the Nuke, all of a sudden you're very likely to play them at least twice in the game. Looks like we see range on the Arc Lights for A. Definitely worthwhile. It's going to become an Arc Light chaff war, it looks like. These Stormcallers, unfortunately, are just able to deal a lot of damage. I wouldn't be apropos to the Stormcallers getting the high explosive rounds, just to help clear away this chaff a little bit quicker, or even getting a range increase just to deal with this chaff a little bit quicker. These are the only things really dealing damage to the tanks as well currently. Tanks have... Ooh, if the tanks got a level, they would suddenly become much more dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised if A does make a tank transition at some point in the game, just because the tanks could deal with a lot of these units quickly. Looks like Intelligent Marksman also coming out for our blue player. He is a little behind on the number of marksmen, but eventually he could catch up. There's 2 extra marksmen on the side of A, but we shall see. Dancing Crawlers, interesting choice. I think this is just to try and pull the center. So this is, although there aren't Stormcallers on the field, which is normally why we see the Dancing Crawlers, if you're able to pull all of these units towards the center, your Stormcallers are much more likely to get good shots in. So all of these units are just coming down the line. If the Stormcallers turn, they should be able to just start nuking down these units. I think that's going to work out for them. These snipers really aren't shooting much currently, but over the course of time they might get online and start shooting at Arc Lights. That's really what he needs to be taken out here. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. These crawlers are able to get in, though, on the snipers once again. There's still not enough wave clear on the left. Go, little crawlers, go. Pulling things away, allowing these Stormcallers to get shots in on the sniper. Really good choice. Wow. This is like a surgical strike here. It's like a true chess game. Both players have basically the same pieces, but just a few key differences in both positioning and unit composition is really helping our blue player just continue the dominance of the field. This is a really good game to dissect and study if you're interested in learning a lot more about Mechabellum. There just needs to be a little bit more long-ranged units here for A, and that's really costing him quite a bit here. Both these units have range, the snipers and the arc lights, but they're still not performing as well as many of these stormcallers. The stormcallers are allied top 1 or top 2 in both cases here for our blue player. Something that can shut this down would be very important. Either spend the money and grab a few missile interceptors. I mean, these stormcallers are only level 1, and they're outperforming a lot of the level 2 and level 3 units on the field. Also, taking a look and seeing, hey, my snipers are the thing that are really doing it for me. Let's lean into that. A realizes it and grabs a few more snipers. That's going to be really important. The double tap on the snipers as well. This will help them get through shields and also just clear away these extremely annoying arc lights. Let's see if that is enough. Both players have spent the majority of their cash. Our blue player still has a good amount. Oh man, I like these guys. They're just going to be touching each other as they run by. Hey, what's going on, Jim Bob? Well done. A few more Fang. These Fang are going to be important just to pull units. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing some Fang just to delay these flanks a little bit. They drop extremely quickly. 3 units of Fang. Okay. That is a lot of extra meat just to get shot by these snipers. If the Fang ever get shields, suddenly sniper shots become much more difficult to land on the proper units. Man, that's a lot of extra shielding. If the Stormcallers ever are the last things to survive, they will be able to just survive underneath the shield for quite a bit longer. And that's the other thing that's unfortunate here for A, is that these Stormcallers are just rattle-tattling away and knocking down his shields. That's a lot of money that's being spent there. Man, these Fang actually coming in good, defending this flank for a little while before the arc light turns. Man, this is a lot of snipers though. There are enough Fang to kind of deal with this, but down go a lot of the arc lights, and let's see if these snipers will be enough. They should outrange the Stormcallers by a little bit. 180 versus 180. No, they don't. That's unfortunate. And with the snipers taking a little bit longer to reload, it looks good though. They're level 3, meaning that they're able to take a lot more shots. Oh no. They have to turn. One sniper left. He's in on some Fang. Oh, that's annoying. But it's only a small cut. A's survival has become much more relevant now. If he can take 2 more small cuts like this, I would consider that a win, as he's slowly able to pull the game back. Oh, shield specialist for A, probably worthwhile. Makes those shields just significantly better. I wouldn't be surprised if both players don't grab it. It looks like we see some recycling here for A as well. I think that was a unit of arc lights that got just recycled there. Not a bad choice. I'm surprised that our blue player hasn't upgraded these Stormcallers. Given that the Stormcallers are literally the top performing unit, I think giving them some upgrades and even leaning into them a bit might be worthwhile. But choosing not to. Let's see if that eventually bites him. We see a few more... It looks like more arc lights coming out here for A. He's a little worried about the unit or the amount of crawlers, and these crawlers are positioned extremely well just to come in multiple waves just to keep disabling the snipers. I would love to see these Fang grab shields. That would be super annoying if even 2 or 3 of the Fang survive. Granted, the double tap on the snipers does deal with the shields quite well, but instead of killing... Or, well, actually, no, the double tap just deals with the shields very well. It looks like our blue player's thinking the same way, though. Hey, shielded Fang, they have significantly more survivability against the arc lights, and also they can just keep pulling sniper shots. Really doesn't matter, because the snipers do have that double tap. The first shot will knock off the shield, the second shot will kill the Fang. So, it's kind of the same thing anyways. More shields, more good. And I do like that our red player A here is protecting their flanks very well against any type of aggression. Big battle right down the center. Man, it is like true chess pieces. The final length of these crawlers are coming out, but interestingly, our blue player has had these crawlers go all the way to the back line. That's really important because they're going to come back in once the majority of the chaff is cleared. Both players actually doing so. That way the snipers get distracted just that little while longer. Oh no. These little Fang are absorbing the damage that they need to, and these snipers are once again caught out. How are the Stormcallers performing? They're still performing exceedingly well. I think they could use an upgrade and maybe some range just to keep pounding away, but A is in a really tough spot. He needs to start shutting down some of these units. Maybe a Vulcan? You know, a Vulcan wouldn't go... Yeah, there it is. Extended Vulcan range. A Vulcan wouldn't go astray here for either player. Orbital Bombardment. A's got the cash. He can drop out 2 Vulcans and give them range. It's $800, $300 for the range. He's got the cash. Man, some Vulcans with range would really deal with a lot of this chaff. It's kind of the big brothers of the arc lights in this case. Honestly, I'd recycle this arc light and give the Vulcan the range and that laser sight, just so that it can plink away at basically everything. If A doesn't grab a shield, though, oh no, he's out of shields. He burns the oil. He knows that the orbital bombardment is something that could happen to him. More Stormcallers. Yes, our blue player has finally realized, hey, you know what's actually working really well for me? These Stormcallers. These Stormcallers are number 1 and number 2, getting the most kills throughout most of my units in these last couple of rounds. Probably worthwhile just having some of them. More Dance of the Crawlers for both players. Will our blue player remember? He's got 33 seconds to play it out, though, and he also thinks that the game is going to end. Grabs the extended range and the extra cash. I think he's just going for the killing blow. A wise decision. Interestingly, our red player has chosen to just try and win a single flank. This isn't a bad idea. So what we often see... Oh no, there's 3 Vulcan. Okay, that actually might make the difference. But what you can do is, if you're not sure if 1 Vulcan will be enough to clear away a flank or 1 unit, just double up on 1 flank. Make sure you win that flank in total. That way, even if you lose the game, you only lose by a small portion. And this Vulcan is doing a great job at just clearing away all of these little itty-bitty Fang. Really, really good play here. Unfortunately, these snipers should be able to clear away the Vulcan very quickly if they get online. Oh no, there's so many shields here. The Vulcan are really going to struggle with that. Will it be enough damage to kill A is the next question that we have to look at. I don't think so. I think these snipers will be able to plink away at quite a few of these units and kind of deal with it, but man, those shields are really going to become an issue. And our red player really just needs some Stormcallers of his own. Is it enough to kill him? It's going to be very close. Oh, it is. Great plays by both players. Unfortunately, A will not be going to the final round. Good job. We'll see you in the next round. Welcome back to what is potentially our finals. I guess for you guys, it's just a quick cut. Marksman Specialist, Marksman Sledgehammer for our potential blue player. I have a feeling he'll end up as the red player. And a Rhino Specialist. Okay. We have seen this happen quite a bit. Did these players flip sides? Yeah, they did. I don't know why that's the case. Super weird. Wow. That's a good amount of snipers, tanks, and crawlers. This is basically a complete army at this point. Very, very difficult to deal with. Unfortunately, they all are moving a little slow. I'm worried about our blue player's wave clear initially. I'm not sure there'll be enough, just because these crawlers will get in and online very quickly. Unfortunately for our red player, if the Stormcallers shoot at the tanks, I think that we'll probably be engaging around here. We'll see if the crawlers end up right on top of these tanks. If they do, they're very likely to be destroyed by the Stormcaller shots as well. We'll see though. Low entity count armies for both players should be very close. Oh, here we go. First engagement. I think it's going to go in the way of our blue player, but we'll find out. It all comes down to these Stormcaller shots. And unfortunately, I think they're going to be pretty darn good. They'll decimate the tanks and clear away a lot of the crawlers. These little Fang have a lot of work to do, though, both in absorbing tank shots and absorbing Stormcaller or sniper shots. And I don't think there's enough here to hold it. Our red player seems to be pushing forward. There's a lot of tanks left. And now the snipers are killing off Stormcallers. There's one unit of Fang here that are doing a good job pulling aggro. But unfortunately, there just isn't enough meat. These Stormcallers will be destroyed. Well done by the red player. Again, just basically a complete army to spawn with. You have good medium units to take up a lot of fire and to clear chaff. Good single point damage. Wow, the tech specialist this early is very powerful. A lot of players love the heavy hackers, but oh my gosh, really? One player opting not to grab the tech spec. Okay. You know what? It's not a bad choice. I'm surprised, but it's not a bad choice whatsoever. A lot more crawlers coming out here for our red player, a lot more crawlers coming out for our blue player. Is there going to be any flanking? Not yet. Okay. And the players go off very quickly. Whose missile is this? It is our blue players. Blammo. Down go the tanks. With the tanks destroyed, I don't think that left-hand side will deal very well. We'll see, though. Once again, the Stormcaller shots go out. They clear away... Oh, not nearly as good. They cleared away some crawlers. But now that there's an engagement in the center, the Stormcallers have a better chance of shooting. Not only that, the Fang have a good DPS rate if they're not just absolutely obliterated by crawlers. And this is looking pretty good. This is looking pretty good for our blue player. Having those crawlers just there to hold that line for a little while longer made a big difference. And this is going to be a significant amount of damage. Ouch. Ouch indeed. The tech spec hasn't been utilized yet, but it could be utilized on that Rhino. Ooh, the nano repair kit on the Rhino would be brutal. Or if the Rhino gets a lot of upgrades, suddenly placing a Rhino in the backline would be good. All right, here's this Rhino. If he gets the automatic HP restore as well, I don't believe they stack. Normally equipment does override, but it would be really interesting to see this Rhino with the detonation core, the final blitz, charge in there and just deal the damage that needs to be done. There's a good amount of snipers, but over the course of time, these Rhinos could become much, much more deadly. Our blue player was the champion last week. Let's see if they can continue their winning streak. A few more snipers. Okay. And I think this Vulcan is a good play by our red player, just because if the chaff is cleared away, I don't really think our blue player stands much of a chance. Most of their cash is currently spent on this chaff. However, they are going to start earning just a little bit more cash over time. Down goes the initial crawler wave, but some survive. Will it be enough to delay here? I don't really think they're too important, as the majority of the units wouldn't be in contact anyways. Ooh, wow. Dodging quite well. The Rhino's able to survive in the fire, but the snipers will eventually bring it down. Unfortunately, this fire's DPS is being wasted massively on this Rhino. The Rhino's pushing forward. It should drop here before the Vulcan. I would think. Maybe not. Wow, the Rhino's just punching through it. Well done, Rhino. It did exactly what it needed to do. That must be frustrating for our red player. That was huge. The Rhino just tanked thousands and thousands of points of damage there. It'd be really great to actually see how much damage is tanked by our units. It's not currently a stat that's tracked, but this Rhino took a huge amount of damage. Holy crap. Our red player gets hit pretty darn hard, putting them in the danger zone. We have seen these games just be brutal, and the amount of damage that each player takes. Ooh. Senior attack spec coming out for the red player. I would assume it will come out for our blue player as well. That's hard to pass up. That is very hard to pass up. The enhancement module isn't really worth it at this point, but we'll see. Our red player opted to grab another Vulcan and a unit of Stormcallers of their own. I think this is a wise decision, as a lot of these units that are kind of hanging out in the backline would be great Stormcaller targets. A few upgrades as well. What did our blue player pick? Yes, it's the Senior Attack Specialist. It does kind of nerf the amount of units that you're going to be playing, at least this round, but definitely worthwhile. Will these crawlers go to town on each other? No. Instead, the crawlers played in the backline just to support that Rhino a little bit. A couple of Wasps. We've seen it before in the tournament, but next turn, if either player goes super heavy into Wasps, that could be aggressive here. A little bit less worthwhile for our red player, as our blue player has protected himself quite well against that. Ooh, and the extra HP could make a difference here for this Rhino. The nano repair kit works off of the maximum HP that your unit has, so that's why I was interested in this field recovery, or the field maintenance. Oh, and the little crawlers will be squaring off against each other. It should go in the way of our blue player, at least initially, yeah, and that does help a little bit. At least the Stormcallers will be able to shoot at big groups of crawlers, but unfortunately that pulls all the crawlers right in to be slain. The Rhino is going to do a great job here. If it can get in, clear these Stormcallers and the Sniper, there's basically nothing else that can contest it besides this level 3 Sniper. Let's see how well it does. It's taken a lot of damage. Probably another 2 volleys and the Rhino will go down. Oh, it's going after the tower. Down the tower goes, and that will do it here for our red player. Doesn't look like he even won the left-hand side. That is rough. It's not going to be enough to put them down, but our blue player is showing why they've been champion time and time again. If you haven't seen any of the previous casts, our blue player has been on here many times before and has normally gotten first through third place. Man, that super heavy armor would be quite fun for the blue player if they opted to go with another rhino on this flank. Okay. Best buddy coming out for the Vulcan, best partner even. There's going to be a lot more snipers on the field now, and they will have range. That should help take care of these rhinos. And the Vulcan sniper is quite a good build. These units work very well in synergy with each other. Missile coming out from the red player. It's free. You get to use it quite often. I really like it as a tech, and it looks like it will clear away 2.5 units. Maybe only 2, depending on how quick these little Fang get out of the way. That's quite good. The other great thing about the best partner is that in low entity count number armies, the best partner works really well because you just continually get at least 3 extra units a turn, and they're free. And they spawn at the same level as the Vulcans. So if the Vulcan continue to grow, so too will the snipers. Where is this mothership going to be played out? Ooh, and just as we predicted, the Mass Wasp with a supporting Mama ship. This might just put our red player in the ground. Let's see if there's enough snipers to deal with it. These Fang might clear off a unit of Wasps. But I would be surprised. Missiles dropping. Let's see if it's enough. Losing all these units on the right-hand side is going to really hamper this, though. Wasps are spawning. The little Fang are starting to clear them away. The center looks like a loss. Good damage there on that tower. Oh, no. The Mama ship's in. The Fang were good enough to clear away 1 unit of Wasps, but will they be enough to clear away the second? We'll find out. It looks good. The sniper's already on the Mothership. Mothership is only charging down the sniper, though. Oh my gosh, no! The sniper's aggroed on this super tanky Rhino. Mama ship's gonna grab the tower. Oh my. Accidentally activated autocam there. I do apologize. Oh no. This is looking rough. This is looking really rough. This mothership can potentially win the game from this point on. Let's see what happens. Yep, that's gonna be game. That is gonna be game. Ooh, the motion sickness is real. Well done to our blue player, showing why they're the champion. Let's see if there's another game in the rounds. Ooh, potentially. Let's take a quick look here. This isn't something we do very often on the channel, but this will determine whether or not there's a victor or another game to be played. Red and blue. Wow, look at these beautiful unit deployments. This laser's going to do a ton of damage. Do the Phoenix respawn? They do not. Oh no. Down go 2 groups of Phoenix plus half a unit as well. These Phoenix are extremely necessary, it looks like, to take care of the sniper and the Stormcaller aggression. That's a very, very good ion blast. Oh, no indeed. A couple of these missile units may survive to kind of clean up some of the damage that would be coming in, but it's not going to be a lot. Snipers at level 3 can survive the fire. At level 1, not so much. Burning down a lot of units here. It's just a matter of how long can the round last. Not quite enough. Our blue player takes significant damage. Wow, round 5. Neither of these players have taken much damage. That's quite good. We might see a much longer game on our hands. Senior Attack Specialist versus the Amp Corps. Interesting. I wonder what prompted the red player not to grab the Senior Attack Specialist. Very powerful to have. I would love... Oh, these Phoenix can't respawn. The tech is not available. Okay. Interesting choices. This backline is so open. Just 2 units of extremely aggressive crawlers could really take out this backline. The crawlers that can both burrow underground and have mechanical rage move so quickly. They could just absolutely decimate these snipers. That might be worthwhile. Let's see what is played, though. I do like all of these Stormcallers. With the fire, they're able to just immediately start pounding away at these shields, burn off a lot of these slower units, and also outrange these snipers, especially if they were to get the range enhancement. No, opting for the overload. Okay. Hey, launcher overload is really nice just because they fire significantly quicker. Then you get the range to put them right back on that long range. They still outrange the snipers too. These Stormcallers should do extremely well. The old arc lights are dealing a good amount of damage. Down goes the sniper. Man, that guy didn't really have a prayer. And the Overlords are shooting very, very quickly. This should get through the shields at breakneck speed and hopefully allow the Phoenix to deal real damage. Phoenix, although they deal a lot of damage, they have quite a long reload time, meaning that they don't really perform super well against shields. Looks like there's still some crawlers here to absorb sniper fire. Very much worthwhile. The Phoenix are pushing through on the right, getting decimated on the left, but buying enough time for these Stormcaller shots to keep landing. Oh no. This is going to be a lot of damage coming out on the red player. Great play by our blue player. Really good play. Turning these Stormcallers into rapid reloading machine guns really made a difference. Genie manufacturing for the blue player. Definitely worthwhile. Elite hackers could be a lot of fun. Maybe not against this number of Phoenix. Probably a poor choice. Improved fortresses. Really? They're more expensive. I normally don't grab an improved card unless I have a couple of these units already on the field. But having them is going to be quite nice. This fortress has a ton of HP. 120,000 HP with the amp core. He's going to be moving faster. He's going to be hitting harder. And the... oh, I hate this upgrade. The anti-air barrage. Unless it's been changed recently, the anti-air barrage is hot garbage, in my opinion. I have seen so many of these missiles pass right through Phoenix, pass right over Wasps, or half of them just go the wrong direction. But hey, at least it's a little bit more anti-air. Granted, this does not scale. The missiles deal 900 damage no matter what. If your fortress is level 5, the way that I read this and the way that it's played for me is that it still only does 900 damage. I do love these Distraction Fang. Distraction Fang are great. They're going to pull a ton of these Stormcallers and these Phoenix away, meaning that this fortress will be able to survive significantly longer. Out it goes. It's launching its anti-air barrages. It looks like some of the Phoenix get cleared away from it. I don't think the fortress... Oh, this one might survive long enough to get another barrage out. It did kill an extra Phoenix, and that bought a lot of time for these units. Is it enough, though? These Stormcaller batteries are just firing away, and these snipers don't have the range to deal with it. They just are getting completely outclassed here. The fire is able to clear away all of the little shooting squads and the Fang that are out. It's not looking good. This is going to be a big win for our blue player once again. Mass Stormcaller. I wonder if our red player will play out a ton of missile interceptors. It might be the cheapest way to deal with this. Just grab like 7 missile interceptors. It would seriously shut down the damage that our blue player is putting out. Red grabs the intensive training. It might go on these fortress. It would give them a ton of HP, but they're really suffering from these Stormcaller shots. The Distraction Fang worked somewhat, but they really only lasted for like 5 seconds there, and there isn't enough fast DPS rushing the line and dealing damage. What does our blue player pick up? Strike Specialist would be good. Again, we could see a Strike Specialist with Mass Phoenix would do exceedingly well here. Yes, these shooting squad would be able to shoot down some of them, but or even Mass Wasp going out on these flanks would be extremely powerful. It's a great way just to end a game. If you think you're in... Oh my god, I think he spotted it. Is our blue player going to do the Mass Wasp? No. It looks like these Wasps are going to go on the front line. They'll get shot down by snipers, but... I don't know if this is the play. They'll get shot down by the Overlords as well, but it will prompt the anti-air barrage, which actually proccing that is quite good because it takes a long time for this to come back online, which might give the Phoenix enough time to get in here and deal with these fortresses. Level 2 fortress on the left. It might work. It might just work. I don't think so. I think our red player is doomed. Interesting choice here with these Wasps, though. Let's see how well it works. I think they'll be able to dodge a lot of the anti-air just because they have a set movement path. Out comes all the anti-air barrages, and yeah, some of them survive. That will proc another anti-air barrage if these two do live. No, it doesn't look like they will. Oh well, good enough. Stormcaller shots still dealing the damage that they need to do. Because there's the fire, it just means that all of these Fang that are meant to follow these fortresses in can't. And unfortunately, that means all of those Fang don't even land a single shot. At least I didn't see any Fang shooting there. It's all down to these snipers, and the snipers have just way too many units to shoot at. They're outranged by the Stormcallers. There's no way for them to pull this forward. I do like the Wasp play. It was kind of like a troll play, honestly. Now, this means, I believe, that we are going to have another game for the finals. We shall see here in a moment. Congratulations to both players. Great games by both players. We'll see you in the next round or announcing the finalists. Our championship game, everybody. It looks like we did have one more round. And these are by far some of the best players in the world. I'm really interested to see what goes on in this game. Oh, wow. This speed specialist has a lot of HP. Not only that, yeah, some very good units. Our red player thinks so as well. I'd be interested to see if our rhino specialist gets picked here or the giant. Generally, these are considered very, very powerful. The giant actually comes with some good units, non-traditional units, I should say. Instead, we see the rhino specialist coming out here for our red player. I believe they were number 4. Okay. Number 4 versus the old champion. Let's see if they can pull it out. Very good deployment. Very standard. I like that they're adjusting their units a little bit. Just not using the recommended unit formations. Looks like our blue player is making some transitions as well. Ooh, this is tough. Does our blue player opt for some chaff? There's only 2 tanks for wave clear. A good choice in these snipers for the red player. Yes, and our blue player looks like they're going to grab at least 1 more unit of chaff. I would consider a second. Although these Mustang will do okay at clearing away chaff, they need support, and crawlers can easily overwhelm Mustang, at least in the early game. Once the Mustang get a couple of upgrades or some key tech choices, such as the high explosive ammo, crawlers and Fang don't stand a chance against them, but for now they might deal a little bit of damage. Looks like the crawlers are also going to be used to shield these tanks. Tanks generally have more wave clear than Mustang, just because they do have that splash damage right out the gate, but it looks like the Mustang are enough to push through this unit of crawlers here on the right. The second unit of crawlers is going to be able to get in here and start dealing with the tanks, though. It's going to be 3 snipers versus 2. They should be able to clear away these tanks quick enough. The question is, will any Mustang survive to absorb enemy sniper fire? It looks like the answer is yes on the right. On the left, not so much. Oh, and that is a trade. Our blue player takes a little bit of damage, but at this point, it's just kind of a way to size each other up. The first round, you normally don't see too much damage going out. Extended range on the sledgehammers for our red player. Definitely worthwhile, as they're his main chaff clear. And the snipers are still low enough that it should take them 2 shots to take out the tanks anyways. 2,000 damage. Oh no. 48. 84. Okay. Actually, yeah, the tanks can still absorb 2 shots. That's interesting. That would have been quite fun if it meant that the snipers did one-shot them, but the answer is no. A lot of tanks coming out here for our red player. Unfortunately, this missile, ooh, it does, the tanks dodge, duck, and weave out of the way of a missile strike. And a Vulcan coming out here for our blue player. Had to sacrifice a unit of Mustang to make that work, though. Is it gonna work? Probably, honestly, with both of these snipers going down. The tanks won't have enough damage to really get through the Mustang. Not only that, or the Vulcan, not only that, they have a lot less HP. So the Vulcan should deal with them quite well. Down go both of the snipers. That's why it's important to space your units out. Just because, obviously, all single point damage being located in one area is quite bad. Man, this Vulcan clears the these units so much quicker. Gee Louise, these poor tanks. Until the tanks have the mechanical rage upgrade, their rate of fire is just so bad. So incredibly bad. The Vulcan is easily able to start chewing through them, especially with the support of these snipers. I think our blue player has a pretty good build already going for him. The Vulcan sniper is very hard to deal with. Tanks need a lot of levels and a lot of upgrades to really come online. And unfortunately, the tower dropping first here is probably bad for these tanks, but honestly might not might not affect them too much. They're already aggroing on the sniper. Ooh, no. And these snipers seem to be going in without the support of the Vulcan. That's unfortunate. These little tanks are going to plink away at the Vulcan. They won't be able to kill it, but at least he got himself 200 less damage just due to that deployment there. Ouch. Taking 400 is never what you want. Of course, taking any damage is bad, but it does hurt when you hear that thump. Barrier comes out for our blue player. Photon coating for the red. Makes sense. There's a Vulcan on this flank. Down go all the Mustang. A very, very low entity count army here for our blue player. Rhino is out. Rhino will have the photon coating. That should absorb a ton of damage from the Vulcan. It won't do very well against the snipers, but it should absorb a ton of damage. And as we've seen before, this Rhino, if it gets close enough, can actually punch down the Vulcan and kill it. I would like to see some more snipers or... Ah, there we go. There's the mechanical rage on these sledgehammers. It just means that they'll be able to take out that chaff so much quicker. They need to buy a lot of time because currently there's only 2 snipers on the field here for our red player. So the tanks can overwhelm the Vulcan. They just need some really, really key upgrades to make it there. If they get the armor enhancement and the field maintenance, they should be able to withstand a lot of the damage that the Vulcan put out. Not only that, survive significantly longer against sniper shots. That way these backline snipers can do the damage that they need to do. Normally when you're facing really low entity count armies like this one, you want to have as many snipers as possible. Oh, and that missile goes in and deals a lot of damage. Look at these tanks go, though. They've already taken out like a quarter of the health of the Vulcan. This little Rhino is doing a great job. He's absorbing a lot of damage. He needs to get in there and kill off these snipers. It's just not quite enough. Just not quite enough. And there's a lot of enemy snipers on the field now. The best partner was a great choice here for these Vulcan. It's just having a lot more snipers is very good against the tank line. And these tanks shouldn't survive too long against this. Also, this Vulcan will earn itself a level, meaning that the barrier won't matter, but the damage and health increase is great, and also the sniper will now be level 2. Oh no, our red player's in a really rough spot. He needs a lot more snipers, or heck, even some Phoenix. Phoenix deal more damage. Heavy armor coming out for our blue player. Almost certainly going to go onto this Vulcan. Yep, saw that coming. Mass upgrades for the snipers as well, so that they can cut through this tank aggression. And there's the Fang to help support the Vulcan. If the Fang come out, probably in front of the Vulcan, just to absorb tank shots, it's quite good. Oh, can these? No, the tanks cannot get the electromagnetic upgrade. Possibly some crawlers in the backline wouldn't do poorly here. The Vulcan would almost certainly clean them up, but it would delay the snipers a little while. I bet that's what he's weighing it up. Can I get enough crawlers out to make this worthwhile? The guarding is pretty good, but some crawlers way back in the backline here might do enough. Just might. And I actually like these Fang deployments. Just really boxing in the Vulcan. That way it's pretty safe on all flanks. What did our red player pick up there? Oh, he did grab the crawler upgrade and some stormcallers. Very good choice. The majority of this army is slow moving. The stormcallers are a little bit behind on levels, though, if he does opt to deploy another one. Should help him clear away this Vulcan's shield much more quickly, though. We'll see. Ooh, unfortunately, this Rhino is going to get slowed down. The photon coating is enough to keep it online for a little while, and it could even get the field maintenance just to keep itself up a little bit longer. But we shall see. Oh, interesting. Our red player opted to play the crawlers in his own backline. That might not be a bad option here. Oh no, and the slowdown on this Rhino is huge. He's already taken half of his damage in sniper shots. That is just devastating. Honestly, I would consider recycling that Rhino. It's not really doing much, and you could use the cash either for some more snipers or some more stormcallers. The stormcallers did a great job clearing away this Vulcan. Now the tanks can get online, absorb a bunch of damage, and the stormcallers can keep killing. Oh man, that one little Fang absorbed 2 sniper shots. That's exactly what you want. The right has fallen before the left. Can these stormcallers deal enough damage? Man, they just really do a great job against giants, and that slowdown is huge. Down goes the Vulcan. I bet the stormcallers will clear away both these snipers as well with the next barrage. There's even some tanks to support this. Oh no, that sniper might get in time though. It does not. Our red player makes a small comeback. That is great. Those Stormcallers really made a big difference. Just, Stormcallers are so good against land-based Giants units. Ooh, Mama Ship, Portable Shield. Or Shield Device is also quite good, but looks like our blue player opted for the Portable Shield, installed it on a Vulcan. This Rhino is just feeding XP at this point. I would get rid of it. That's a lot of extra money, and you could put that on a unit that's actually worthwhile. These tanks would love it. Level 3 tanks, not taking a lot of damage. They're a little bit far back, though. Our blue player looks like they just played one Vulcan. No Fang yet. Oh, that missile is going to be devastating if it lands on the red player. A couple more Stormcallers would not go amiss here for our red player. He could just build out the battery. Once you have 3 or 4 of a unit, that's when we really start upgrading them. Looks like the Nano Repair Kit goes out on these tanks. That's quite good. It will really help them deal with the Vulcan damage and give them a little bit more survivability against the marksman. Not a lot, but a little bit. Both players taking their sweet time. But I would rather them wait, take their time, and make great plays than kind of mash through. It's probably my #1 tip for Mechabellum. You just use the time, man. You have 90 seconds, so at least use 60 seconds. Finally, our red player realizes, hey, some more snipers wouldn't go amiss here. I need to win the sniper war, and having that range on these snipers should do it. I'd really like it if he got rid of this Rhino or ran it backwards. Instead, he's going to dance the Rhino. Okay. It should still absorb a ton of damage for him. Down goes the missile. There's no supporting batteries. Luckily, these tanks are healing, and at level 3, they will deal with this Vulcan significantly quicker. Snipers are already online, pounding away at them. Ooh, and interestingly enough, that Rhino did a great job in delaying. I don't think it's enough, though. I really don't think it's enough. It looks like there still might be 3 Vulcan that survive this engagement, and if they do, that is going to... might actually kill our red player. Man, those Stormcallers dying just meant that there really wasn't any chaff clear once the tanks went down. Is he dead? Yes! Congratulations to our blue player. What a commanding win. Let's take a look at the victory screen. And there we have it. We have our champion, we have our runner-up, and we have our 3rd place. Good job on Rat. Congratulations to all the players who did play within the tournament. If you see your name listed here, great job. I really appreciate you coming out here for these tournaments. If you like the channel, please like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next tournament, the Mechabellum University 2v2 Tuesday, or whatever other channel you enjoy watching. Show, I should say. Congratulations. We'll see you in the next one.